Rishi Sunak has urged MPs not to make hasty decisions about an explosion at a hospital in Gaza, as he has been repeatedly called on by Labour leader Keir Starmer to remind Israel that it must respect international law. Sunak said British intelligence was working quickly to analyse evidence and get to the bottom of the explosion at Ahli Arab hospital, which reportedly killed hundreds of civilians. The Prime Minister said he would meet some families of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza and that Britain was working closely with Qatari government, which has led efforts to secure release those detained since attacks 11 in Israel. The Israeli military presented evidence on Wednesday morning that showed explosion was the result of a misfire of a rocket launched by Islamic Jihad militant group. The group denied responsibility. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry blamed the Israeli attack for the explosion, which a ministry spokesman said killed 471 people. U.S. President Joe Biden, who visited Tel Aviv, sided with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying it looks like the other team did this, not you. But Sunak told House of Commons that Britain could not give its verdict on who was behind attack. Following talks with National Security Advisor and Joint Intelligence Committee, Starmer called on Parliament to speak with one voice on condemning terrorism, supporting Israel's right to self-defense, respecting the dignity of all human life and upholding international law. Describing attack on the hospital as incredibly saddening, Erdogan said fears of people in Gaza that it was not a safe place were deep. He added the lights are going out and innocent civilians in Gaza are afraid they will be lost in the dark. International law must be followed at all times. Speaking in the House of Commons, Foreign Secretary James Cleverly said that despite clamor for independent assessors to examine the explosion site to determine who was responsible, in practice this was incredibly difficult. He echoed Sunak's call for people not to rush to judgment, saying this would only fuel instability in the Middle East and risk breaking social cohesion in the UK. He wisely said that the final conclusions of the Foreign Office and MI6 would be made public once they were reached. He wisely said he would return to the Middle East this week. It is understood that his first stop will be Egypt on Thursday. He wisely said recent events were a setback to Britain's aim of a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. But he said the government was not fatalistic and such an outcome was now impossible. Stephen Flynn, Westminster leader of Scottish National Party, called ceasefire a position not held by Conservatives and Labour and asked whether government would consider creating refugee resettlement scheme for Palestinians similar to schemes established Palestinians, Syrians, Afghans and Ukrainians. Sunak responded by saying Israel had the right to defend itself.